Welcome to our review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. If you haven't watched our review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3, please do watch it at the top right corner there because many things mentioned in that review is also applicable to the Z Fold 3. But I gotta admit one thing before we begin. While I did spend the week with these two devices, I did spend slightly more time with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 because I do like the Fold a lot more than the Flip form factor, but that's just a personal preference. So let's begin with this review. So the Galaxy Z Fold 3, to me, it feels like an iterative upgrade, but overall, I would say the upgrades made for the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is not justifiable if you're only looking at the spec sheets. So let's start off first with the design of the Galaxy Z Fold 3 because it comes in a total of 3 different colors. We have Phantom Black, Phantom Silver, and also Phantom Green. And since we have both the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra and also the Galaxy Z Flip 3 with us, we can compare the phantom blackness of both of these devices. And I did find out that the Galaxy Z Fold 3's phantom black is kind of darker than the S21 Ultra, so I just think that's worth pointing out. And the hinge cover of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 is following the color of your choice for the phone as well, but this hinge cover is in a glossy finish, which is in stark contrast with the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 because this phone has a matte hinge cover. Not too sure why the inversion. And now let's take a look at the camera cutouts, and they are relatively thin, honestly. For the camera cutouts, we have a total of 3 cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. All of these cameras are identical to last year's Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2, which, to be honest, I was quite disappointed. Sure, all of these cameras can still take amazing pictures, but I do wish for some upgrades, particularly the inclusion of laser autofocus and better telephoto cameras. I got too complacent with the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra's telephoto cameras that I always use 10 times optical zoom to take pictures of the dogs. But 10 times is the maximum digital zoom that the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 can do. And obviously we need to talk about the under-display camera because this is the first ever Samsung smartphone to use this kind of technology, and I do think that this is gonna divide a lot of people because I believe if you want better selfie qualities, then you're gonna sacrifice on how well you're going to hide that selfie camera, because if you're gonna hide the selfie camera entirely, that means your selfie picture quality is gonna look like crap. And I think Samsung's implementation is okay because if you're viewing something black, the under display camera essentially looks like a hole punch selfie camera on other OLED phones. But when we view something white in color, that's when we can see the octagonal shape. Of course, we use our cameras to zoom in to look at this under display camera, but with my own eyes, well, the under display camera can easily be ignored. And just for fun, I also took some selfies on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 to compare its quality because the under-display selfie camera is only at 4 megapixels. So when I did take the selfie and compare the quality, I don't know what to expect. I was generally okay with the results. I'm not gonna expect the selfie to look great because I do know that this is the company's quote-unquote first publicly available version of the under-display camera. And comparing it with the cover display selfie camera quality, well, you're gonna have a lot of difference. And just for fun, you can also take selfies in this manner, which produces the best possible quality that comes out of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. But that aside though, the videos coming out of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 still looks very good. The under-display camera can only record at 1080p 60fps at max, but the cover display's camera can take videos at 4K 60fps, and as you can see here, I'm slightly wiggling the phone a bit and they seem to have some kind of stabilization. Presumably it's EIS, which is very well done. You can record videos using the rear cameras, however you need to turn on the cover display preview and hold the Galaxy Z Fold 3 in a very awkward manner. So this is also something that I personally wouldn't do. But back to the screens. In the spec sheets, the main display remained the same because it is still using a 7.6-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display with a unique resolution of 1768 by 2208 running at 120Hz refresh rate. However, there are two big changes to this main display here. Number one is the under display camera, like what we mentioned earlier. I kind of find it to be an okay implementation since I can ignore it a lot easier than the punch hole selfie cameras, so that's good. And secondly is the brand new material for the screen protector of this main display because it is now using PET, which means my fingers can glide on it a lot better. Fingerprints don't get caught on that much, and there's no color shifting like the Galaxy Z Fold 2 from last year, which is honestly a huge upgrade in terms of user experience. The cover display though, it did get an upgrade. It's now a very long 6.2-inch display with a resolution of 832 by 2268 pixels, but it can now go up to 120Hz refresh rate since it is using Dynamic AMOLED 2X panel. And just for fun, I also tested the color accuracy of the cover display and the main display, which I found out that the main big display covers 100% sRGB color gamut, 99.88 of DCI-P3 and 98.92 of Adobe RGB. For the cover display, it covers 99.42 of sRGB, 98.14 of DCI-P3 and 93.43 of Adobe RGB. And that just means that both the cover display and the main display are of high color accuracy, which means you can enjoy content without any issues. That's good. Yeah, that's an awkward way to open the phone, right? My chin. As for the performance, we're not gonna talk much about it here because it is still equipped with the Snapdragon 888 chipset. Overall user experience, it's not gonna lag. It's really fast. But one thing I did find it to be amusing though is that I can play two games at once because I can split the main display into two long phones, if that makes sense. So I can play Pokemon Go on the right side of the screen and also play Mario Kart Tour on the left side of the screen. Yeah, they both run side by side, no lags, and they're just very responsive overall. Oh, do you remember a feature called app continuity or something like that, where you can continue using the app from the cover display to the main display by just opening it up? That works for certain games, and so far I found out that Genshin Impact actually works. So if you're playing it on your cover display, unfold the device and all of the elements will just scale properly to the main display, and I think that's just amazing. And now for the software side of things, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 uses Samsung's One UI 3.1.1, and you guys know how much I love One UI because we already talked about it in our long-term review of the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, which you can watch it at the top right corner there. And specifically for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, all features from the previous generations are carried over, plus some improvements and additions as well. Samsung also gave us the option to force apps to work in flex mode. I can see this feature being much more usable on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 compared to the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. For example, if you want to play some tabletop games, then you can just use flex mode, make it like a self-standing tripod, and then you can look at your game, hold your controller and play some games, which is nice. But for some reason, flex mode still isn't supported by many of the games, so maybe in the future when more apps will support flex mode, this feature will be much more feasible. And just like what we mentioned in our long-term review of the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, every month, without fail, I'll be getting one software update. So I don't expect anything less from the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. Yeah. Now let's talk about the battery life of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 because it comes with a 4400 mAh battery. And initially I was worried that the battery is not gonna last that long, but I was worried over nothing because I did find out that while we did our battery life test at its full main display here with a really high resolution and at 120Hz, it lasts for about 8.5 hours, which I think is pretty good because I don't think anyone will use the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 with its main display all the time. So realistically speaking, this battery life test result is not reflective of real world usage. Now for the charging speed, well, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 doesn't come with a charger in the box. Again, you just get the phone and also the cable. That's it. Again, it's not a problem for me because I have 65 watts of USB PD PPS charger in the house, and I can charge this device at its full 25 watts on that charger, no issues whatsoever. And it got from 15 to 100% in about 80 minutes, which I think is pretty fair because you do get a pretty long battery life out of a single charge. And a few miscellaneous things that I want to mention is number one, IPX8 rating. I still cannot wrap my head around about foldable devices being water resistant. And I just chucked this into the water and yeah, it still works. And I can even play games while it's underwater, which is just weird. And Samsung DeX also works with the Galaxy Z Fold 3, so that's nice. And also S Pen support. While I don't have the S Pen with me to test it out on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, but from what I know, the Galaxy Z Fold 3 S Pen is a brand new one that you need to buy it separately because none of the older S Pens will work with this device. However, I do think that the S Pen with the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is like a match made in heaven. Okay, so conclusion time. I gotta admit that I'm actually planning to get myself one of these Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 because I think it's mature enough to the point where the form factor of folding your phone in half and unfolding it into a tablet is mature enough because of two more reasons. Number one is the IPX8 rating, so you can chuck this in the water and you don't have to be afraid that it'll go haywire. And number two is the price drop. Because in Malaysia right here, the starting price of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 is at 6,699. My jaws dropped because I was expecting the price to be 6,999. But for me to change from my Galaxy S21 Ultra to the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is gonna take some adjustment, particularly in terms of its cameras, because like what we mentioned earlier, I got too complacent with the cameras on the S21 Ultra, and this seems like a downgrade for the cameras, but a huge improvement in terms of user experience. So yeah, that's it. That's all we have to share with you about the review of the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Maybe more to come because we still have the S Pen to talk about, but we'll leave that all in the future. So stay subscribed and we'll see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below and also tell us, will you choose the flip or the fold? Yeah, goodbye.